I'll give them this. When they want to go for a Star Wars Elysium ripoff, they certainly go all the way. So hi, we're still catching up. I'm clearly in my pajamas. Yeah, you saw this before I did. This is Space Sweepers, the Korean sci-fi action film
on Netflix.
Currently on Netflix. I got a bit of a buzz for like a week. You had some thoughts. Yeah, I think you have more thoughts on this than I do. I thought it was like, yeah, it was fine.
I mean, it's a very it's very like Korean with what they're portraying. Like you have the guy and then the girl, and then obviously she's a badass, and then you have like the guy that looks really rough on the outside, but he's just a big sweetheart.
I don't know if that's exclusive to Korea though.
No, this is like, if you really think about it, like this happened in Train to Busan and kind of Parasite a little bit, but it's
still never seen Parasite. But
that is a damn shame.
I know. I keep meaning.
What is wrong with you?
I know.
It won.
I know.
Oh my god. Racist. I'm just kidding.
Okay, fine, whatever, buddy.
Yeah, just this movie. I mean,
like, I guess what I'm wondering, what makes those distinctly Korean? Because as someone who's not that familiar with Korean cinema,
there's always like a group of four, and everyone's got like a very specific thing.
Okay, so
and it's like, if you've seen enough of it, it's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, that clarifies things a bit, because like what we're really looking for, like stereotypes that exist in literally any other movies.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's so like clear to me, and it wouldn't be clear to you.
I'm just, like, it's one of those things, if I've seen enough Korean cinema, I'm sure I would see it too.
Yeah.
As someone who is not that familiar with it, I'm kind of, that's what I'm trying to get the bigger picture here.
Yeah, it's really like, it's a very, it's a fine movie.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's more like it's busy. It's very, very busy.
Yeah, I was surprised with the level of CG that they had for...
Yeah, especially for like something that, like, I don't know how big of a budget this had or how big the company is that made it, but it certainly has a lot of ideas.
Yeah, I mean...
For better or worse.
For better or worse.
Because, like, there are parts that are very pretty to look at, but some of the action scenes have all these kind of weird, like, tracking and zooming shots that it's very disorienting sometimes.
Oh, we forgot to mention the transgender robot.
The transgender robot, yeah.
That was the fourth person, and
She was cool, I liked her.
They were cool.
Well, she identifies as female, clearly.
But... that wasn't clear in the beginning, unless we're going straight into spoilers.
I mean...
Fine. She!
That is something I feel like you don't need to hide that.
That's fine, yeah. And there's a transgender robot.
There is a transgender robot.
I feel like that's the bit that you like raise your eyebrow and I was like, oh, that's new.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Like, it's surprisingly diverse, all things considered.
There's a lot of diversity in this film.
So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
I think, things I like about it first. First off, for those who don't know what this movie is, this is like, starts out as like critique on ultra-capitalism, about like the world is dying because of population, pollution, all that, except there's this fancy green world where all the rich people live. It's very Elysium.
It's part WALL-E, part Elysium, and then a little bit of Star Wars near the end.
Yeah, a little bit of Star Wars near the end. It definitely transitions about halfway through into much more Star Wars-y area, I swear to God, I finally figured out where I recognize this guy from. The Rich People Society. That's all like green and proper, and the guy who runs it thinks is this very like pontificating bad guy who's talking about like who deserves to be here. It's very eugenics talk in a lot of ways. And I realized his voice sounds so goddamn familiar. I finally figured out where it was from. He's from fucking Castlevania.
Oh, he's Dracula?
No.
Which one?
He's Belmont.
He's Trevor?
Yeah, he's Trevor Belmont.
Huh. I'm gonna have to listen for that again.
Yeah, because I was like, his voice sounds so familiar. It sounds like Sean Bean.
Oh,
and that
man,
was bugging me. And I was like, a son of a bitch, he's Belmont.
What a way to ruin Trevor Belmont. Anyway, with the pastiest, crackliest old man.
He's not the crack. Oh, I guess in the movie.
In the story, he's like 180 something.
Yeah, he's old as fuck. But he looks great for his age. And they never explain how he's this young, except he has like weird weird veins about wearing out again.
No, basically he's been kept alive by money. Every time when he gets mad and his and all the veins show up under his skin, that's just the money being like, "You're making the money, man."
The puppet straight into my veins, the money. While I get on my moral high ground over stupid things.
Let me get on my white savior horse.
I'm gonna put you in the morally ambiguous trap. You fell for the morally ambiguous trap, you bastard! Kill.
How dare you do what's best for you?
It's like, did you ever watch Jupiter Ascending?
No, I didn't.
Okay, one of the better sequences of that movie is just, they have this whole thing that's basically like space bureaucracy, where it's like 20 minutes and then going back and forth to different offices to get some paperwork filed, and it's actually more interesting than it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this movie was trying to go that direction in the first act, because the whole thing is that the main crew on this ship, called Victory, is basically what's called space sweepers that basically fly around and look for debris that they sell for scrap and everything else they can get.
Yeah. So because Earth is so polluted, they've actually there's also like leftover satellites and like spaceships that like fucked up at launch or some shit like that, and like there's some cool like sci-fi things like space elevators, if you understand that concept.
I mean, it's in the name. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, but like the idea of it was something that I was introduced in like 2006, where basically it would be like the idea was like, if you want to do it for real, you'd probably have to do it somewhere around the Galapagos, because that would be the safest place if something fucked up.
Yeah, that's fair. That feels pretty fair.
But it's essentially like a big ass tube that extends from the Earth to the
Elysium place. That's the one I
No,
call it.
it's like the lower stratosphere of Earth or something like that.
Okay,
something like that. Somebody bring me the research paper and basically it was
get
like
the space elevator scholars in here and crack
yeah,
the code.
for sure, man. It was actually a pretty cool idea. I was really interested in 2006. So to like see it in the movie, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool like conceptual ideas on here, but anyway, the point I was trying to make was.
But yeah, they're space sweepers.
They're space sweepers, and they really hype up the space sweeper sequence too. When they all like everyone's trying to hunt this one ship, everyone's like the camera's going all crazy and zoomy and shit. Everyone's got these hooks in place, and they have the big thing where like the Victory's like the big bad of all these other space sweepers, and they're never that cool again for the rest of the movie.
I feel like the movie Space Sweepers assumes that you've seen the Sandra Bullock movie, where you know that debris in space is traveling so fast that if it like
Gravity,
yeah, that if it bumps into you, it would just shred you to pieces.
Oh, Gravity is not an accurate depiction of that, by the way.
No, it's not.
Just to be clear on that.
But I feel like that's the assumption that the concept is like that's why they have to,
I feel like
fly
you don't really
so fast.
I feel like you really don't need to know that ahead of time. You can assume space shit. It goes fast.
Sure.
I feel like you're gonna hand wave that around.
There's just a lot of like borrowed sci-fi concepts.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure. I don't think you need to know any of them offhand to really understand what's going on, though.
Max?
But he's burying his head in the sand like an ostrich.
He doesn't want to be here.
It's
fine.
But anywho, so but at the same time, every time that they get charged for like back taxes and like for breaking antennas,
it's like being an Uber driver.
Yeah.
I could say that.
Yeah, well, it's even worse right now.
Yeah.
After Prop 22 passed.
Well, I mean, the last time I tried to order food, there's all sorts of fees that were stacked on, so.
Yeah, this is more like working for them. If you were a Uber driver and they said like, oh, but you hit a curb halfway, so we're gonna charge you like $1,000 for that. And
the maintenance
we're gonna
of the
take
ship.
maintenance of your car. Maintenance of your car. That's like.
Oh, you wanted to eat something that wouldn't give you scurvy? Joke's on you.
Yeah, so the point is, like, for any money they make, they charge them up the ass for every little thing. And it's like this ultra capitalist criticism. And I'm like, oh, okay, so it's going in that direction. Much to my surprise, no. It kind of drops it after that.
It's kind of weird that the company that runs space and Earth, essentially, got so strong that they outdone a government. And it's just sort of like, yes, we're the company. We also give the funny bucks.
I mean, like, well, Outer Worlds did the same thing too, right? The video game.
I don't remember that.
It came out recently, Outer Worlds. Came out last year.
I didn't see it.
It's a great game. You should
I didn't play it.
It's a great game. You should play it.
Well, I'm employed now, so now I can probably afford that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
So basically, Outer Worlds is basically a game where, like, what if capitalism ruled the entire kingdom kind of thing, where how it eventually falls apart. Except that one I felt like did it better because it made it also very clear that they basically brainwashed everyone to convincing them that it was for their own good kind of a thing, as opposed to this movie where I kind of had a bit of an issue with it because I feel like someone put an argument recently about, like, there is still a glass ceiling to how much you can charge for stuff, guys, where people stop doing the thing. Like, because McDonald's want to release a $30 burger, they would have done it by now. But so it's kind of like it feels like
what would that even look like?
Probably still like a Big Mac.
It's like a Big Mac, but it also shoots you with nanobots that give you more cholesterol.
Oh, Jesus. The point is, like, that was my one issue with the Space Troopers concept originally. Is like, guys, we're gonna charge them up the wazoo for everything they bring in. Eventually, people are not gonna want to do this job.
I mean, like, eventually, like, why would you, right?
Exactly. So
it's like, why would I want to be a citizen of the company? And then it's like, oh, because that way you can use a credit card instead of paying in cash, which you don't get because you're not a citizen because we're charging you up the ass for not being a citizen. It's just like, this is a weird payment model that you think enough people would have revolted.
You would think
by now, but also I guess it's just sort of there's that moral thing where it's just like, oh, you want to do the thing, but you can't because you're just a greedy little piggy.
Yeah.
Oinky, oink, oink.
I wish he talked like that.
I wish he talked like that. I wish he said that instead.
Like, honestly, that would have been so much better. Like, not that it's bad, it's just predictable.
It's just like...
It's very generic.
Yeah.
And it's very kind of predictable. So when you get past that, then it turns more into, like... we are the Empire. We want to destroy all the poor people. And we also destroyed the world because I am an evil capitalist.
Oh no, his point was that he needed to move only the pure of heart.
That's where the eugenics talks comes in.
And it's just sort of like, okay, Hitler.
Yeah, it's very, like, eugenics.
Okay, Hitler, damn. Like, and then, and then the bit with Dorothy comes in. It's just...
Oh yeah,
this movie had a lot happening.
This movie is very busy. But yeah,
so
the main crisis of the movie is when there's this rumor going around of a robot called Dorothy, who's supposed to be a bomb, and the crew of the Victory end up finding her and try to ransom her off for like $2 million. And then they realize, this is getting spoiler territory by the way, and they realize she's not a robot, she's just a little girl that happens to have nanobots that can cure the world.
She has nanobots that control other nanobots that can cure the world. She's nanobot the Avatar.
You're not wrong. And from there, it straight up turns into a Star Wars story. Like, anything about, like, the capitalist stuff is kind of dropped in favor of evil empire versus good rebels.
I mean...
Which isn't necessarily bad. It's just...
Yeah.
Not what was initially promised.
So, like, the scene that we keep talking about with the old man, Trevor Belmont voice actor, where... So, the first thing that happens is, like, he's in a press report, and then all the people on the press are like, hey, you know what's pretty fucked up? Like, leaving everybody who could go to Mars on Earth. But also, if you have terraforming technology, can't you just use that on Earth, the planet that we're already suited to live on? And he's just like, no. Also, I'm gonna shut you up by making you take money. But if you have, a moral spine, you won't take the money.
I mean, that's basically it. That's not that far off.
That's basically the scene, which is why I think it would have been better. It's like, but you'll take the money because you're a greedy little piggy.
And here's the thing. long-term speaking, colonizing Mars is not a bad idea, but you could do both.
Yeah.
Because, like, realistically, like, this Earth's not gonna last forever. We should learn how to, like, colonize other planets.
I mean, yes, I want to be a multi-planet species, but we can't even figure out how to treat.
Oh, this is gonna go way beyond our lifetimes.
I'm just saying, we can't even figure out how to treat women nice. And that's half
Those
of the
things are
population.
not related.
If we can't even figure out like how to treat half of the population correctly, I can't imagine us taking that into space and being like, this is fine. I'm very more on the Star Trek.
I'm not
universe,
from a moral standpoint.
where
I
we
think
sort of,
I'm
like,
more thinking
cleared
like,
up their shit.
I'm more like logistically. We need to figure out how to do it first before we go into how space society's gonna work.
Elon Musk will figure it out. I don't know.
Don't give that man too much credit. The guy's like an actual monster.
Oh, I mean they all are.
But
hence this movie.
Elon Musk.
Capitalism it makes you a monster.
Elon Musk gets a weird amount of hero worship, and I don't get it.
I'm sorry if you have a Tesla. For all of our viewership that are Tesla owners.
I guess all 5 of them maybe.
Well, that's a lot too, at most.
But yeah, anywho, so a lot of the movie is about basically the crew interacting with this little girl and dealing with the space stuff, and then there's the Deus Ex Machina. It's pretty predictable from there, really. They even have like the Rise of Skywalker moment at the end when they're having the giant space battle, and then they bring all their space sweepers in, it's fucking led by I want to say it's led by what's the guy's name from Star Wars?
Oh.
No, the other one.
John Bodega?
Yeah, like the one who drives the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, Lando?
Lando, yeah.
Yeah.
They come in and they're like, on your left. No, wait, that's not it.
Well, I mean, no, they didn't say on your left. They said something in French.
I know, I was making an Endgame reference, sir.
Whatever.
And like I said, the chemistry between the cast is pretty, like the main people on the ship is pretty good. Like the acting overall is pretty solid, I would say. Between the main cast. Well, I like their chemistry together. I like the dynamic of the little girl. I thought all that was interesting enough to at least keep me invested.
I agree with that. I just also felt like there were too many moments when they were trying to establish like their relationship with each other where they just like broke all tension altogether.
Tension in what regard? I guess.
Like, it's like, oh man, I don't trust you because you're a robot bomb, but let's also sell tomatoes.
Yeah, like, I get what you're saying, and like, it could have been more smooth. That being said, the scenes themselves, like, yeah, it's pretty fucking cute. And like, eventually you kind of need to break that tension to make the rest of the story work. And at that point, it's like, well, you can grow tomatoes. You might as well help me sell them. So I can kind of I can understand both angles on that.
Also, what a waste of tomatoes. That could have been spaghetti anyway.
It could also be $20. So
that's also fair.
Yeah, but you can use to buy spaghetti.
Conglomo brand spaghetti.
Because they had tomatoes, they didn't necessarily have the actual spaghetti.
That's fair.
So I'm just saying. But that being said, like, those are actually the scenes I enjoyed more than like the big bombastic action sequences, though. Or the scene where they're interacting with the little girl and she's being all cute and shit. I didn't need all the exposition bombs out. Like, if that ain't broke the tension, I feel like it's the random like, let me tell you all these characters' long backstory for 20 minutes. And
I see what you're talking about with that, because like I was like, wait, wasn't he looking for his daughter who blew up in space? And
then you get the entire
also he used to be a stormtrooper.
Yes, that was also
this is the main
weird
character, by the way.
Yeah,
like the main character used to be a stormtrooper,
and then he like killed everyone on a ship except for a little girl, a baby.
Yeah, and then he's like, I'll adopt the baby.
Yes, and then the baby went to the vacuum of space because space gambling.
No, because he refused to kill anymore, so he lost his citizenship. Like, imagine losing your citizenship because you're doing the morally correct thing, and then also getting chastised for not doing the morally correct thing.
Welcome to the U.S. military.
God damn it.
I know. It depresses me too.
It's so dumb, because there's a scene, so he gets kicked out of citizenship with the company because he refuses to kill anybody. But then, when offered an exorbitant amount of money to go find his daughter, which is morally the correct thing to do,
Yeah.
the Palpatine evil man.
Environmentalist Palpatine.
No, Elon Palpatine. There we go.
There you go.
Palpatine Musk. I don't know. Elon Palpatine is
Palpatine Musk just sounds disgusting.
It's like his perfume. It's like his cologne.
Well, there's an opportunity for a commercial break later.
Palpatine Musk, get yours today.
Palpatine Musk, just do it.
Oh no! God, now we're gonna get sued.
Yeah, it falls under fair use.
Yeah. So I forgot my point before the battery ran out.
Yeah, we're talking about something about something about the environmentalist bad guy and the daughter. And
right. Yeah. Just like.
And I turned to rant about Palpatine Musk.
Yeah. Just talk. Emperor Palpatine. Elon Palpatine.
What if that's what stormtroopers called the Emperor when he just didn't bathe for a few days? That was the Empire today. Oh, he's fine. He's got that Palpatine Musk going though. Oh God.
God, good thing these helmets are sometimes filtered.
It's like walking into the bath. You want this, don't you? As he spreads.
Oh.
Feel the overwhelming power of the Palpatine Musk.
What have I done? I'm so sad.
I apologize to everyone for that image.
So sad. Let's not talk about that man ever again, because oh no, he even dies like Palpatine.
Does he? Does he fall into a giant hole?
He gets exploded upon.
I guess no. The most recent one. God, I wouldn't even a dumber way for this movie to end if at the very end, like, the main character like pulls out like 2 laser swords and starts going, "I am the space sweepers." Forms an X with like the space axes they have.
Just.
I am all the space sweepers. No. Rise of Skywalker was dumb. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, massive tangent. We were talking about the daughter.
Yeah, so I kind of wish they focused more on that, or it would have been better writing if like the scientist man who was the Dorothy's dad or whatever was like, hey, so we found your daughter but turned her into the cure for the world.
I feel like that would have been too predictable. Like that would have been too kind of, I don't want to say predictable, but cliche.
I don't know. Like sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel here.
I was perfectly fine like going like a. See, I actually kind of like the moral crisis they had, where he had like I can either choose to use the money the bad guy gives me to find my old daughter, or I could do the right thing and save the one that's still alive. I think it's just as interesting, if not more of an interesting dilemma.
I guess.
To tackle in that regard, but I guess that's more down to personal taste.
Yeah. What was the engine guy's deal? Oh yeah, he was a drug cartel leader.
Something like that.
Yeah, and he escaped to space, and it's just like nobody. It's like so Earth has no jurisdiction for anybody in space.
I mean, how are you gonna enforce that realistically?
I don't know, but he has to buy stuff. It would be easy to get a wanted poster in space internet.
Oh, what's up, buddy? Oh, okay, just fine. Okay, taking a... Don't grumble at me, you're the one that wanted to move. Alright. I know it's not comfortable, hold on. You're fine. There you go, you big grumpy baby.
Baby boy.
Alright,
he doesn't like me.
So...
Yeah, Space Sweepers.
Space Sweepers, it's perfectly serviceable.
It's a good...
It definitely has high ambition.
I felt like it dragged a little bit.
It definitely drags. This is this could be easily condensed to 1.5 hours.
Like, it was a 2.5 hour movie.
It was about 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, it felt like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, like, I didn't, like, hate this movie or anything like that. It's more just, like, there are parts like, I'm kind of bored. Or, like, this feels really busy. Or, like, you did, like, this feels like the scope of it, of what it's trying to do, is not as clever as it thinks it is.
Yeah.
And that kind of drags on for a bit. It's like, okay, like, I get what you're trying to do, and it's not a bad message to have by any stretch of imagination, but you're not as deep as you think you are, movie. And that's not even to say this movie's, like, overly pretentious, like, movies similar to it, but it's more like, if you're gonna tackle these kind of big ideas, I feel like you should focus more on the big ideas rather than the flashy parts of it. If that makes sense?
Yeah, I guess. So at the end, they, like, saved the planet and got enough money to fix their ship. Is that what happened?
That's what I'm more or less getting out of it. Yeah.
And then, so everything's all pristine and clean and everything. I don't know, I felt like it would have been better if they kept the charm of the fucked up thing, because they're still sleeping shit in space at the end.
Yeah, they still are.
Oh, right. God. The Deus Ex Machina. I was trying to remember what you were talking about. Yes, I remember that now. Yes, I, Dorothy, will use my avatar nano machine power to protect the crew from sacrificing themselves, which would have been a better ending, by the way.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I kind of wish they died.
I kind of wish they did. Not like anything malicious or anything, but it's just like
they had a pretty good way to go out. Yeah.
Like, that would have, like, been a much better arc, where it's just sort of like, we went from like deeply selfish ass people to, like, hey, let's save the planet.
Yeah.
in the best possible way.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm honestly disappointed that they lived. It was like, that would have been a better ending. It's kind of like what I felt about the first Croods. Do you ever see that movie?
I think I saw the Croods.
Yeah, it's the one, the caveman movie.
Yes, and I think the dad should have died, but he didn't.
Yeah, the dad should have absolutely died. I mean, I like his character. I wasn't, like, disappointed that he didn't die, but like, what a way to go that would have been.
Yeah, I just like, cause like, I mean, not to be like morbid or anything, but it's just like all of their wants and desires, just like, you know, and then in a way it would have been like, spitting on Palpa Musk's face. Palpa Musk's face, like, the final time as they all died. You know, I don't know. I just would have liked that ending a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that.
Plus it would, like, really, like, close the box of, like, any idea of a sequel, because I don't need a sequel for this.
They're definitely trying to make a sequel. Not that it'll succeed, but I guess the movie was fairly popular when it came
out. It's Netflix!
Netflix greenlit Bright 2, alright? Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Netflix greenlights everything.
Yeah, that's why they'll get Space Reapers.
But I don't want it.
Doesn't mean they're gonna make it. We have 4 Alvin the Chipmunks movies.
Everything's awful.
Just because we don't want it doesn't mean they won't make it, as long as it makes enough money. Capitalism! Yeah, I know.
See, I'm still waiting for the part where all the Star Trek nerds just take over and it's like, no! Meritocracy is the way we should have done this!
Hope maybe one day, when we're all good and dead and smarter people hopefully take over at some point.
Yeah, I guess.
Hopefully being the mass, that word is doing a lot of lifting on that concept. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to say about this.
There's not much to say about the movie. It would like
we have plenty to say about it, I think. But
if you want some space action and you want some explosions and you want, you like Korean stuff, yeah, go watch it, I guess.
Yeah. So I think that's all I got for this one. So I'm gonna go watch Judas and the Black Messiah with Grant. So that should be fun. What do you think, Mike? I mean, at least it's not a Minesweepers movie.
Coming to you in 2023.
Okay,
Oh no, Max is running away from the mindset.
No, okay, I guess that's it. Alright, we're all done here.
We're all done.
Thanks, guys, for watching. See you later.